Everybody, so just give me 1 second. I'm just spreading the news that we're streaming off of YouTube today. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And of course, I got the wonderful, amazing Masei Seki with me to join me on the stream.
Hi guys.
Right on. And today we're gonna have an actual, I figured, you know what, let's do a topic because we do so many of these streams, and I don't know about you, but just looking at all those different streams and everything, it's hard to tell what is actually being talked about in each of the streams. Right? So I figured that we can kind of concentrate today's stream all about discussing healthy egos with artists. I think that's a good topic, you know? It's something that isn't really discussed very much, but everybody that that has had a healthy career in art can for sure tell you that it's important. It's very important, actually. So let me just finish sharing a couple more things because I'm, trying to share everywhere I can. Just give me 1 second here. Oh, right. I should share it right here too. And okay. One last one. Let's see here. Stream is happening. Okay, great. So now everything is up. We have a few people, and I'm sure everybody's going to start dribbling in. So, for those of you that are new to the stream, welcome, and hopefully everybody can hear me okay and hear us okay. And if you have any questions, it's okay. We could just keep it right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to type it into the chat there. And if you could use the word question, type in question in capital letters before you type your question, I'll be able to pick it out. Or actually, Masei will be able to pick it out a lot easier, when we're actually doing stream here. So first thing, what am I drawing here just to kind of keep it going is get a piece of paper so that your hand doesn't smudge. That one's pretty basic. Everybody knows that one. What am I drawing with? Because everybody wants to know what kind of pencil you're drawing with, because that's the magic ingredient to get that pencil.
It's like brushes. It's like, oh, what's that brush?
I know, right?
But it's all about the artist.
This pencil is a black coal erase pencil. I like it because, it doesn't smudge that easily. It doesn't smudge as easily as a pencil, like a regular pencil. And it has this nice smooth kind of feeling to it. So I'm just going to be drawing away while we talk about the whole entire topic of healthy egos and artists, because everybody knows, and I'm sure I would love to hear your kind of experience with this as well. Sometimes you get the artists that think that they're all that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They're all that in a bucket of chicken. And they might not be. In my experience, anyways, those people don't usually get that far, or they might get really far, but then actually nobody likes them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and especially just because the animation industry, it does seem like a very small like community. Obviously, if you don't give a good impression to someone, then it's gonna reflect on like how people think of you later on. So
yeah,
it's really important.
not only that, but thinking about when I was back in school and thinking about the slackers there or the people that were very cocky. I see them now, and or even worse yet, I don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
And 10 years, 15 years later, when I think about that person, even though they might have totally changed,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're cocky, right? In
Mm-hmm.
my mind, I still have that college version of them because I don't know, I haven't kept in touch and things like that. And if somebody asked me, you know, what about that guy? Is he a cocky artist? Then I would say I don't know right now, but back in school, yeah, that guy was pretty cocky.
Mm-hmm. And like the whole thing about if you know people, then obviously like it'll give you a higher chance to get a job somewhere later on. So it's really important to just keep your ego on a down low, but in a but keep your a healthy ego up. And
Yeah. But so here is the big question, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have the answer because I don't know if I have the answer. I didn't really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
but how do you know if you have a healthy ego?
That is a very good question.
Right?
When people say ego, they kind of think of like a cocky ego.
Yeah,
And
but you do need an ego of
uh-huh.
some sort, right? Like you can't, because then there's the people that go, "Oh, I will never get that good. I will never, do this. I'll never do." That's very unhealthy as well.
Uh-huh.
It's just that usually doesn't really bug people that much because they just go, "Oh, you're good, you're good," and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same effect as if you're really cocky, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, "My stuff is amazing. I don't know why I'm not at Pixar yet," this and that.
I haven't. Luckily, I haven't encountered anyone like that. But if I do, I don't know if I'll be able to hold a conversation with them.
It is kind of like, yeah, how do we know if we have a healthy ego
Mm-hmm.
or if we're just cocky or, not, um, not confident enough? There is kind of like a border, right? There is kind of like a border where it's like you are confident, but you're not delusional.
Mm-hmm. And it's okay to think that you're good or like
Absolutely, yeah. And you should think that you're at least a little bit good, or at least that you have promise, right? You might not be good right now, and nobody's really good right in the beginning. Oh, we have a question. So, Cake Air says, what always made me laugh is whenever I saw Bobby's Imagine FX avatar, I thought he was this older, handsome dude. But when I saw his YouTube page, he's actually a lot younger and uglier.
No, it doesn't say the uglier part, but
I added in the uglier part, but it's like older, handsome dude, and I'm completely wrong.
Handsome,
no,
Bobby.
I'm just joking. Okay, but sorry. The question actually is, did you ever meet Mobius, Bobby? Yes, I have. Now there is a person where I really feel like this man. I didn't know him that well, but he knew who I was. I knew who he was, and we've exchanged a bunch of conversations before. But I do feel like he is a person that has a very healthy ego. Mm-hmm. He has done so much, inspired so many, yet he's so just down to earth when he's talking and everything, talking to us, taking his time to speak with his admirers of his work and everything. Mm-hmm. That was a really nice thing. And you know what, I don't know if he was a little too friendly or anything, but there would be people around him a lot of times because when you're that well known, there's people around you, and they would try to kind of protect him from getting talked to. things like that.
Really?
Yeah, but
Oh.
yeah, you understand as well, especially if you're at a Comic-Con and then you're like, you got 100,000
Yeah,
people.
like swarming and wanting to talk to you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the man, he was later on in his years when I got to know him. So, it's probably even more important that people leave him alone and things like that. Lori says, she doesn't say a question, but Lori says, just got to meet you guys at Schoolism in Montreal. Had a great weekend.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Right
Yeah.
on. Thank you for that. And by the way, workshops, right? Let's talk about workshops a little bit since we're on the topic. So we have a bunch of workshops coming out. Stockholm is happening May 29th, I think, 29th, 30th, something like that. You could check on Schoolism. And actually, since we're doing this off of YouTube, I put a little card in the video. So if you go to the upper right hand corner, you should see a little eye that pops up if you're on a desktop or something like that. I forget, but I don't even know if it works, but I tried to put it up there, and if you click on it, it'll bring you to Schoolism and you can see all the workshops. But some really exciting times. 2016, Stockholm, May, Steven Silver, Daniel Arriaga, Shiun Kim, Chris Pern, Sam Nielsen, and Eric Canetti. And actually, today I'm heading to Florence with my wonderful love of my life, Kay Asadera, and the super talented power couple, Ryan Lang and Helen Mingju Chen. She's going to be there, he's going to be there. We're going to be tearing it up in Florence this weekend, the 19th. So come on out. I think today, tomorrow, I don't know, will probably be one of the last days to buy tickets. So hey, opportunities don't last forever. Anyways, there's also Seattle, April 7th and 8th. That's going to be with Marcelo Vignali, Dice Satsumi, Robert Kondo, Terrell Whitlatch, Mike Yamada, and myself. And then there's also London and Berlin in April. You're going to that, right? So you can meet Massey in London and Berlin as well.
Oh, that one I'm actually not going to be going. I'm going to be in Seattle, though.
Oh, okay. My bad. Oh.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, next time. Okay, sorry. So, London, Berlin, still going to have some really great people. Sam Nielsen, Nathan Fowles, Carla Ortiz, Wesley Burt, Jeff Turley, and Christophe Lautrette. Dang. And today, literally couple minutes ago, we just announced and we just opened up the Toronto workshop. Oh my goodness.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great. The lineup is crazy. We got one of my artistic idols, Stefan Martinier, and we also have Chris Sasaki, Pixar character designer, is coming. Annie nominated, actually. Or did he win? You know what? I know he was at least nominated. I don't know.
He was at the Annie's,
yeah, and I was there too. I was at the Annie's, but I forget. Anyways, Stefan Martinier, Chris Sasaki, who is an amazing character designer and also was
the production designer on the Pixar short Sanjay's Super Team.
Yes.
Which was beautiful. It was so amazing.
Right on. And so he's going to be coming. Also, Disney production designer Mike Yamada, the amazing Mike Yamada, incredible artist. And also, if you are into animation at all, you cannot miss, for the first time coming to Toronto to do his workshop, Andrea Blasic, who is one of the most famous sculptors for animated films. He's going to be doing some live sculpting, as well as my buddy from Singapore, the art germ, Stanley Lau. He's going to be doing his thing. And if it wasn't enough, Shiun Kim, first time coming to Toronto to do a workshop here. That's going to be so Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very excited about that. You just go to schoolism.com where you can go to the little cards uh, in the on the video here. You could go to Schoolism and get your tickets because they will be going fast. And why not? Let's put in a little promo code. Seneca College is our wonderful sponsor, as well as Wacom and ArtStation. But Seneca is our main sponsor, and so if you type in Seneca as the promo code, you will get discounts if you do it, in time.
Mm-hmm. So get it while you can.
Yeah, I don't know when the promo.
Oh, it ends on March 30th.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's a very short amount of time, and it might even go quickly.
Well, last year we sold out. It was nuts. And if you are thinking about it, hey, just look online. Just ask people a little tiny bit. What did you think of the Toronto workshop last year? Or any Schoolism workshop, for that matter. Mm-hmm. We had an amazing time in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's... You know what? And that actually is a great segue for this talk that Luis Gonzalez was telling us at the Montreal workshop about egos and things like that. It was a conversation between him and the great Nathan Fowkes. He was saying, Nathan was saying, how is it like working with Brad Bird? Because Luis Gonzalez has worked on every Brad Bird movie. And, Louis was talking about, working on Brad Bird movies and how Brad Bird is very aware of camera lenses, camera positioning, spacing, three-dimensional spacing and things like that, which I thought was fascinating. But also, what is the process like taking a project that you love, right? You absolutely love it, doing your thing, and then presenting it and getting it torn up. How is that process like, right? And I feel like that is very pertinent to today's overall topic of egos and artists, because he was like, yeah, you have to love it, but then you also have to not love it. And I'm totally paraphrasing and things like that, but the gist of it was, he was like, yeah, when you're doing the boards, you gotta love it. You gotta put your heart and soul into it. That's the only way to get something really honest out, something that people will believe and feel. But at the same time, when you go for your review, your dailies or whatever it might be, you gotta detach yourself from the art, and you gotta kind of look at it like, okay, I'm going to have revisions. I'm going to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I loved the idea 5 minutes ago. Now I'm impartial. And then you get your revisions, you go back to your desk, and then you love it again. Pretty difficult.
Yeah, it sounds pretty tough.
Yeah, and then you think about when you're in school and the teacher is criticizing, the student's work, and then the student gets upset sometimes about the critique. Well, think about this, right? You are a professional. Say you're Luis Gonzalez. You've been in the industry for years and years and years. You are a veteran. And perhaps you're working on a film. I don't think he worked on Inside Out, but say he did, right? And you do your scene, and then they give it to a focus group of a bunch of 8-year-olds to watch and critique that know nothing about animation, about the craft or anything like that. They might have just seen a bird down the street the other day, so they're like, why aren't there more birds in this film? How do you deal with those kind of things, right? If you think school is tough with critiques at this moment, hey, look out. Real world, you definitely want to detach yourself from your work when it's going in for comments.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other questions are there here? And of course, if you have any questions, or if you want to answer any of these, Masay,
Okay.
by all means. Okay, this is me and you today.
For sure.
So the next one, Isabel, will you have a workshop or something in Norway? Nothing planned thus far, but hey, I would definitely recommend the Stockholm one, because that's as close as we're gonna get, I think, and that one's gonna be incredible. Chiu and Kim, Eric Canetti, never seen their workshops. I've just kind of heard the legends, so really excited to see their workshops. I don't know if I'll be going to Stockholm again this year, because I think I might be in Paris at the time, but not to be missed. If you can go, definitely go.
Yeah. Just spend that little like extra money on education and it's totally going to be worth it.
Well, totally. Like, hey, education is an investment, right? And if actually, it's so funny. We were just talking about this yesterday, or I was talking to you about this yesterday. Like, big studios, a lot of times they feel like, just another college or high school when you get in. You got your little cliques, right? You got your little groups and friends and things like that, and there's even more politics or more whatever in bigger studios generally, because you got positions, not just like, oh, that student is older than me. Now it's like, well, that student is above me in position, right? They are the art director or whatever. You might come in the beginning, you're 20 something and everybody's older than you, so that's cool. Your supervisors are all older than you, but at a point, you get into your 30s, you get into your 40s, and then in your 40s you might actually have a supervisor that is younger than you, maybe in his 30s. Then the ego comes back into play big time there, right? Because it's like, did you go backwards? But the way to avoid that, kind of awkward situation where it feels like, oh, you reached your peak and now you're slowly going back down, you got to keep learning, right? Everybody else is. And if you're competing, if you're doing your thing in the animation industry, well, so am I. So is Masay. So is all these other people that are taking schoolism classes or whatever kind of classes. You got to keep learning.
Because everyone's in this race, and if you think you're like far ahead and stop walking or like start walking, people are just gonna catch up to you, and you're gonna be like, oh, where did they come from? Because they just didn't stop.
Now, on the other hand, I would love to talk about competing against people, because that's something that is very related to the ego as well, right? Like, how does one kind of, because I definitely feel that you got to think creatively. You don't want to think competitively against others, because it's just not going to be good. Like, if I was competing against you, which I would never do, there might be less kind of reasoning for me to want to share knowledge that I might have learned or whatever, right? And same with you. So it is important to be just a creative thinker, but at the same time, you don't want to be somebody that's going at 80%, right? You want to go at close to 100% of your potential as possible, get the most out of life. And of course, when you compete with people, like if you're running right beside a person, you're going to run faster.
Yeah.
So how do you have a healthy balance of that? So you get the competition going, right? You get that, the good parts about having a competition, and you have the good parts about not being competitive in a way where it's harmful. How about you? What are you a competitive thinker? Are you are you a competitive person?
Uh, I think deep down inside, I am a competitive person. I just do my best to not let that take over, take over
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing, especially in my art, because I feel like once you become competitive, it might take over, like, your art won't be as honest, I
Yeah.
feel.
Well,
And yeah.
and you'll have a dark soul.
Yeah, but it's.
You have a huge chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing, right? Because then you you get into these positions where, especially when you just graduate, it's like, where are you working at? So where are you working at? So where are you working at? So where are you working at? And then
That
even when,
dreaded question.
yeah, and it's like, man, do
Yeah.
you feel competition then?
Mm-hmm.
Because all your friends and whatever, your classmates or your coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
they start going up, and then you see yourself and you're like, why am I not going up? Well, and we all know it's all in good time. Everybody's on their own path.
Mm-hmm. And also, they might have worked a bit harder when no one was looking, and people might have thought like, oh, they were just lucky, but
Yeah. And
it's all about hard work.
you know what what's kind of like my solution for this is to stay competitive with myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then that is not going to be as kind of good as running right beside a person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the other part of it is to also make goals for yourself and a timeline of those goals. Whether or not you hit those goals, irrelevant. It's just you put those goals up so you can go after them as hard as you can, and if you don't make it, then fine. But while you're going for these goals, pretend that it's not fine. Pretend that zombies are after you or after your family, and you need to get to that level, or else things are definitely not going to be fine. And when that happens, I think that's good. I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, there are some people that have so little confidence, so maybe we could also talk about that. The people that struggle with their confidence, and just, even if they're amazing, they struggle with their confidence so much that it hinders them to push forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
To work at their best. Do you ever struggle with that? I want to know.
With lacking confidence?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like working with you guys, seeing all the amazing artworks that you come up with, it's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Like, how can I like be as creative? Yeah, I don't know. It's how to be confident without having confidence.
Yeah, I think it's more just like, be competitive with yourself, put timelines to your goals, and think about your principles. Because if you think to yourself, hey, I am a person with principles of working as hard as I can, right? And taking life, taking it to the fullest. The work, the family, the fun, everything to the fullest. If that is kind of like your identity, I think that's very healthy. It'll definitely keep you moving, and you won't be competitive with other people nearly as much, and you'll actually, perhaps even, hopefully, even help people.
Do we want to go on to some questions?
Oh, yeah, sure.
We're piling up. So Ashik asks, how do you know if a certain artist is more imaginative than the other?
More imaginative than the other. Well, first, Ashik, don't compare.
Yeah, like what we were talking about.
Compare yourself to yourself. But to gauge the level of imaginative juice, coming out of artists. I think it's just like one of those things where you look at something and you go, man, how did that person even think of that? When you get to those kind of things, and when imaginative people also look at that thing and go, oh man, how did they even think of that? Then that person's definitely very imaginative.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a level like that person is 9.25 imaginative? No, I don't think so. Right?
That would be a crazy way to think.
Yeah.
Being imaginative.
Like, I guess you could kind of look at how many likes and shares and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that tells a little bit, but that doesn't really tell how imaginative you are.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be how
pretty or
how pretty
or popular.
Lots of other factors, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, next question is, Bobby, do you ever make maquettes like Gurney?
James Gurney.
Amazing.
Man,
yeah.
He just, he goes full tilt on his paintings. I don't, because generally I don't have time to do that.
Mm-hmm. But what he usually does is makes a model and then does a paint over, or uses that as a reference. Right?
He uses it as reference. He'll set up lighting and make little models, and it really does help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen his videos. They're gorgeous. And you know what? The man knows how to paint. He knows so well how to paint and draw and all that stuff. Huge fan of his work. And it's like, could he paint those cityscapes and stuff without reference? Yeah, he could probably do a darn good job. Yet he still goes through all these little bits and pieces of the process, which is very commendable, and that's why he is one of those grand masters of the world.
Yeah. His stuff is amazing. Have you met him?
I have. Spectrum Live, their very first convention, I was nominated for an award.
Awesome.
Against James Gurney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really kind of hope I do. You know what? Awards are so funny because I don't like being competitive. I know by nature, as a child growing up and stuff, I'm a competitive person. Mm-hmm. I don't like to put myself in those kind of situations. And award shows are probably the worst.
Oh yeah.
The worst for that kind of thing. So totally do not care about the award, right? Going in, do not care. And then you see your name. Right? And then they announce, oh yeah, so this is one of the finalists, And then that's the exact moment where I'm like, oh my god, I hope I win.
Yeah.
But then I didn't win. But hey, that's okay, because I feel like a winner.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just being part of it, that's still pretty big. So.
As cheesy as it sounds, just being nominated with a man with an artist like James Gurney, oh my goodness, that is a true honor. So, did not mind losing that day at all.
Yeah.
And then same thing happened at the Annies. Nico and the Sword of Light, our TV show coming out next year. Our pilot was nominated for 2 awards. Didn't care, just happy to be there. Then you see the little clip, and then that's when I'm like, oh, I hope I win.
Yeah, but I bet being there was an amazing experience.
It was. Oh yeah, for sure. And it's also funny because if you have 5 nominees for every category, by the end of it, you have a crowd where it's 80% losers.
Yeah, you're all losers.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And then if you win twice, then there's a bigger percentage of losers. Right? So...
that must be a weird feeling.
Yeah. That's why award shows, they're strange. But I want to win something. Deep down inside, to be totally honest, when you're there, you get caught up. When you're not there, things go back to normal and you
Yeah.
get your head right again.
For sure. Okay, the next question is by Nacho.
Hey, Nacho. Right on.
You said that you study animation. Could you show us your student film? It would be so inspirational. Yes.
Oh,
You went to Sheridan and you went through the third year individual film, I believe.
yes.
Yes.
Back in my day, Masay, school only went for 3 years.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. But you know what? I almost think like, yeah, they needed that extra year because from my time to your time, so much has changed. So then you need to learn even more,
Yeah.
right? So you need a
Yeah.
whole nother year just to learn all the stuff that didn't even exist when I was going to
Oh,
school.
yeah, I
Maybe
know.
I don't know.
Seriously, the like 3D, which was cool to experience for me when I went to Sheridan. But that kind of made me realize I'm not a 3D animator. But yeah, there's a lot to learn, and I could see why there's an extra year. But I also think that getting that extra year, the fourth year, it gives you time to kind of figure out what you want to do, as well as like know what you want to what you want to do.
Oh yeah, it just could be a lot cheaper if you just grabbed a coffee every week and sat there with your friends thinking about what do I want to do. Sheridan's not super expensive, which is great.
Yeah.
Even though you could buy a car with your tuition, right, for 1 year. But some schools, by the end of it, you could have taken your tuition and bought a Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
A Ferrari and a kick-ass workstation afterwards. So
Or even start your own studio and everything.
yeah, and you know what? Okay, so to answer that question, I do have a student film. I don't know if it's up anymore because it wasn't up on my site. It was up on this site called Milk and Cookies or something like that. Anyways, it was I took the Cosby Show. I took Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah.
And I made a computer animated version of him, and that was my student film.
Oh no way.
Yeah, it's like Bill Cosby. He finds a ring on his table, and it's the Lord of the Rings ring.
Yeah.
And when he puts it on, he's transported, and he has to fight the Eye of Sauron to get his ring back, or he has to fight the Eye of Sauron because he stole the Eye of Sauron's ring. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right? Like, time really changes the content quite a bit with that one.
Do you remember what made you want to do your film?
Because, you know what? I liked the Cosby Show. When I was a kid, I liked the Cosby Show. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, it's coming from an honest place, so that's great.
Yeah. I would love to be able to do a Bill Cosby impression, but I'm not good.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a question from New Moon. Do you ever worry about losing an idea? Like, if you have a cool idea and you don't write it down or draw it, and then you forget it, is that something you think about a lot on your spare time or work?
Yeah, so, staying organized is a huge thing. Something that I've been thinking about more and more is just to have a little sketchbook that little so I could carry around and stuff, but a little sketchbook where I can just jot down or sketch in my ideas. I have a pretty tight way of like organizing my stuff, as you know. It is quite elaborate, so I'm not going to get into it today. But if I have an idea, I'll break out my iPhone. I'll put it into my... I have a tab on my to-do list that says things to remember. I'll put it in there. Yeah. Google Docs. It's great.
Yes, it's awesome. Keeps you very organized.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, Bobby, do you still remember punch yourself in the face? I still bring that mentality around, and it does all kind of good stuff to me. Thank you so much.
Well, who said that? Who said that?
Tekun 10?
Tekun 10, let me show you something. Let me show you this. I wear this every day. And it says, punch laziness in the face. This is kind of like something to remind me every day to just keep going. I don't know if you can really see it. Maybe like that. You can see it a little bit better. But yeah, there you go. So every day I get up, right? I'm tired. I don't want to get up. And then I'll just tell myself, hey, stupid, get up, hey, lazy. Tell that voice in my head, that lazy voice, I'm not going to listen to you. I got no time for this. I got to get up. I got to do stuff. We got goals to accomplish. We got lives to live. So, there you go.
Yes. Very, super inspirational quote. It's great. Did you come up with the...
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because, you do have this voice in your head that's just like, let's just go and watch some TV.
Yeah, or like sleep for another hour.
Yeah.
This thing on your shoulder where it's like just whispering in your ear.
Yeah.
And you know that it's not good for you, but you just do it anyways.
Yeah. So, like I've almost developed a reflex. So when I feel like that, the reflex kicks in and goes, oh, that's laziness. That's laziness talking to you. Because guess what? Like one of the most powerful things I ever learned or discovered or whatever is that our consciousness, us, we're not our brains. Like the mind and the brain are two separate things. Here's a little context. So sometimes I should really do this. That's your mind talking. And your brain goes, I don't want to do that. Right? And it is this thing where if you want to go far, you need to train your brain to listen to you. To like who is the master? Who is the kind of like bodily organ that's supposed to listen to you, right? If you listen to all your impulses, you would probably get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Right? If you listen to all your impulses from when you were born to now, you probably would have, who knows, maybe even killed somebody. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, we learn to become civilized. We learn to behave ourselves. And if you want to go one step further, learn to control your own mind. Somebody once told me, which I kept thinking about it afterwards. Shoot, now I totally forgot it.
Oh, no.
But it was all about maturity. Maturity comes from being able to control your own thoughts. I thought that was mega powerful. Because some people, as you know, they might be old and they are totally not mature. So maturity doesn't come from age, in other words, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we have another question. I don't think I can read this, so I don't want to like butcher it or anything. The question is, could taking everything to the max be unhealthy? I mean, hang out with your friends, spend time with your family, read, learn, colleges, self-learning, draw. There's just so much stuff to do.
Okay, let's define that. So it was really talking about could working and all that stuff 100% be too unhealthy? Well, what I'm saying is take everything at kind of like 100%. So even relax at 100%. Oh my gosh. I know how to relax. I have like meditation stuff that helps me relax. I have these breathing exercises that help me. So even when I'm relaxing, I'm really putting in my full effort to relax, which is really beneficial. You know, I'll have I'll have some like meditation, kind of guided meditation things. If I only have 20 minutes, I'll put that on, and it'll put me into a state of relaxation for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like your family relationships, take those to 100% as well. Man, I am going so slow on this drawing here. It's really should have went a lot faster. But yeah, like not just stuff that is exerting effort and all this stuff to kind of perform and do something, things that will make you even more tired. But what I'm saying is to live your life at 100%. Like, for example, I just saw Mika Madden on here. Hey, Mara, how's it going? So, Mara, she's from Florence. We're going to go see her tomorrow, right?
Oh, awesome.
Because we're going to be in Florence tomorrow.
Yeah.
And living your life to its fullest. You know, why do you work? Why do you work?
For money. No, I'm joking.
Like, what is the point? If everything was great, I'm sure you know, working hard is also so that you can have a nice life, right? You can be perhaps with family more, things like that. A lot of people out there, they work hard because of their children, yet they just keep working hard and they never see their children.
Yeah.
So you got to remember why you work. For me, why do I work? Because I want a freaking good life. Honest to God, that is why I work. I don't want a normal life. I want an awesome life. So I work, and then I make sure that I still take the time to have that awesome life. Which nowadays, maybe I'm having a little bit too much awesomeness, because I really am enjoying myself.
Which is a good thing. That's an awesome thing.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Do you feel like that it's important to like cater like your work with like how you enjoy life? So I know that, you know, the reason why you started your own studio in Toronto is because you want to stay close to family, you want to stay close with friends, and you're already living here, so you know, it's like a whole package. But what do you think, is there any kind of advice for the people who aren't lucky to, or like who don't get the chance to?
I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So here is kind of like the evolution of how you know, my lifestyle is now. It was all based around work, designing work to fit a life that I wanted. You know, because people don't really think about that. They just go, yeah, it's cool. I'll work here, and then after that, that's when I get to enjoy my life. But wouldn't it be great if you can spend, you know, 8 hours of your day or whatever doing things that you enjoy? So first, family, yeah, huge. Traveling, huge, right? And being an independent artist was important for the traveling part and for the family part. Then, so we started to go to a lot of Comic Cons and things like that. That was great. We met a lot of people. You know, it helped our careers as well and things like that. But we never actually got to spend a lot of time in the cities that we were going to. And we were going to all these different cities. It was great traveling, but we didn't really get to see much. So then we started to say, okay, well, let's start doing workshops. Let's just choose the place we want to go and when we want to go, and then just start going there and see if people show up. Well, guess what? Lots of people showed up, which made us go, well, you know what? We like traveling with our friends.
Yeah.
let's invite our friends. And then it just became bigger and bigger, and now it's just awesome like that. So it is very much designed like that. And then schoolism is also designed in a way for our lifestyles, because we travel a lot. We don't live in LA or California for that matter. And we know we need to keep learning or else we'll fade. So how do we keep learning? Well, build an online school. Then we'll start learning from the people that we invite into our online school. And then so that was designed. And there's just like nonstop, like everything that I do generally is for a purpose. I'm like very, I guess, methodical in that way. I try to always tie things together.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome.
You're part of that plan, Masay. Part of that plan.
Yeah.
Once you become rich and famous and all that stuff, then that means I have to do less work.
Yeah, I'll bring you on my cruise and everything, and I'll take you guys to places.
Hey, nice.
But yeah, it's great to try and like gear your life towards like your happiness, like getting to spend time with your family. Just because like this, like you telling me this reminded me of my dad, and when he used to live in Japan, he was actually afraid that he wasn't gonna be able to spend as much time with us, like me and my brothers, because or this was actually before we were born, but he knew that he was gonna have 3 kids. But he was saying,
he already knew.
Yeah, he already knew. But he was saying like in Japan, like everything is like really geared towards like your work. You're like you have to dedicate your life to work, but he knew that he wasn't gonna enjoy it because he wasn't gonna be able to go back home and everything. So that's when he decided like I'm gonna move to Canada. I'm gonna move to Canada so I can spend time with my family. And he loves his job at the same time, which is like great. So I think like right now I feel like I'm in a really good position where people around me like they give me good insight about work as well as life, where you just have to, make it into your own thing and like make your own happiness pretty much.
Well, you gotta design, like, don't just design characters for video games and things like that, which is great, I enjoy that as well, but design your life. Why doesn't anybody design their lives? Like, why? Well, I'm sure a lot of people do, but why doesn't everybody? You know what? That should actually be one of those courses in school that are not courses in school. Like, I have so many kind of classes that I would kind of have for people as they grow up and stuff that they totally don't have.
Yeah.
Like, why am I learning about whatever like that I'm totally not going to use in the future, when things like communication classes, just learning how to communicate with each other, what kind of verbiage to use, how does that feel when you say this, how do you those kind of things, so highly important. And I would say that it is more important than physics for a lawyer or something like that. Like, physics should be something that is much more specialized, and you would take that or actually I guess you do choose to take that, right? But there are classes anyways. There's classes where it's like these kind of topics are far more important.
And I think just because that option isn't really out there for a lot of students, I feel it's important for people to just kind of go out there and like learn it themselves at the same time, because it's nice that things are like given to you in schools. It's just some things you kind of have to work for yourself. I feel that's just like a personal.
You know what I feel? I feel life is a setup. And we've been set up. And how it's all positioned, how it all works is very much a setup, so that very few people will succeed like the way that they want to. That's how I feel. Obviously there's you hear about news and stuff like that, things where it's like, yeah, that should totally be implemented, but it's not because of politics or whatever. Anyways, I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next question.
Yes, next question is by Ashik. Bobby, talking about competition, you met King Jung-gi.
Yes.
Have you tried to compare or compete with him? What do you think about him as an artist? Is it not healthy to compare?
Yeah, it's totally not healthy to compare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were talking about this for a while, so I'll keep it short and quick. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Just want to say big shouts out to Peter Chan.
And I think I saw Noah earlier too.
Yeah, and Noah. Hey, Noah. You know, do I compare myself to the amazing, the spectacular Kim? No, I would not even want to, you know. Not because he's totally freaking amazing, not because we do totally different things, but just because it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unhealthy.
And you guys have your own like thing going, like your own specific style, would you say?
Yeah. I don't think it's very similar at all. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have the same kinds of interests in the things that we draw, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and the next question is by Metal Shred Madness.
Nice.
Cool name. Have you ever used a GoPro? Do you think it would be better to take short videos of places you travel to for reference instead of static photos?
Photos. I like photos more for reference.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have a GoPro? I do have a GoPro. You know, their app is not the easiest to use, so I got it working the day that I got the GoPro, but now I don't know how to use it anymore. I gotta re-educate myself, so hopefully I can get that done soon. It's just not a huge priority at the moment.
And I think your phone is doing well for like all the Choose My Adventure.
Yeah, I've been using my iPhone for my vlogs, my choose your own adventure vlogs. So I'm just going to keep using that because I need to carry around my phone anyways.
Yeah.
And perhaps later on, you know, I would like to bring the GoPro back out.
Yeah, and then, you know, set it on your head and you'll see where Bobby goes.
Yeah, right?
Even to the washroom. Yeah. So we have another question by Philip. You've mentioned it before in the previous streams, but what do you think were the most important habits, actions, and decisions that allow you to work in the industry from Canada? I'm from the Midwest, US, and don't want to move to the West Coast, but I'd still like to work in the industry.
Most important things.
Keep connected.
Belief.
Yeah.
Faith in yourself is the key ingredient to rapid change. Belief is a huge one. Constantly rethinking, rejudging your stuff. Am I going in the right direction? Have I been learning anything this month? Things like that. Or, you know, where do I feel my life is going to be if I keep going in that direction? That's a big one. You know, have a goal as well. Goals are huge, obviously, because say you go walking outside and you have no actual destination. You're just walking. You know, that's what it's like without a goal. Right? You're just walking around. Hopefully you'll
bump into something.
And that person will give you a job or something. And you'll be like, oh, wow, Steven Spielberg. I didn't, you know, what a coincidence.
Yeah, that won't happen unless you have, like, a direction to head towards.
Yeah, like some people, totally, their lives are blessed and great stuff happens to them. But I wouldn't count on it. You know, I would not think about that for me. So yeah, that's a good question. Another big one Okay, another big one is to be on this constant search for knowledge for whatever it is your goal is, right? So if you want to learn how to, build cars, be on this constant search of knowledge for engineering, not just car engineering, not just car design, but engineering in general. And then what other kind of components relate to car design, and start really delving into that. For me, for art, it was very much about also getting the right information. Because there's so much information out there, especially YouTube, all these videos and things like that. And I'm on YouTube as well. But there's all these videos and stuff where perhaps the quality isn't good, or you have somebody talking that has no business teaching what he's trying to teach or she's trying to teach, because they don't actually know. They aren't actually good at whatever it is they're trying to teach. I would look into your teachers. And that's for everybody, because that, I feel, is going to help our community, our art way more. Like, you got to find the teachers that are also artists. They aren't just teachers anymore. They are learning. They are constantly trying to learn more and more. And they're successful at what they do. Another saying that really stuck to my head was what's the easiest way to become a millionaire? Hang out with billionaires all the time. You will be a millionaire for sure.
Right? So when you want to become a billionaire, you just have to.
Yeah, and who are you getting your information from right now? Are they the billionaires? Are they the chess masters of the world trying to teach you chess? Or are they just like people that read, oh, here's how to play chess, and they're trying to teach you how to become a world chess champion? Too many people listen to the latter, which is why education is so messed up these days.
Yeah. Okay. I think that was a great answer. So David asked, starting out, you design toys, right? Did they approach you, or were you sending your artwork out to those places?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. So don't wait for people. Don't wait for people to say, oh yeah, do this, do that, or do you want to do this, do you want to do that? Start doing it. And this is not just from me, this is from so many other artists out there. They say the exact same thing. Don't wait for that job. Just start doing it. Say you want to work at Marvel Studios. Start working on Marvel movies. Well, nobody lets me work on Marvel movies. Well, pick a Marvel superhero and start making a movie. So what would you need to do first? Well, you need to do, the look of picture. So what's that going to be? Start painting that out. Start, what else can you do? You can cast somebody. Who do you want to cast as, maybe the next Wolverine, like a new, younger Wolverine or something, or whatever it might be. And start doing your own version of that, right? Don't sit there waiting for the job, because you'll get there much easier if you just start preparing now. Something that always happens when we're doing gallery shows, right? So right now, this is a piece for this gallery show that we're going to be doing in May at Art Ludique Gallery in Paris. It's going to be awesome. But something that always happens when we're doing these gallery shows is we get job offers after, like every time, and lots of them. Why? Because we're putting ourselves out there. We're not waiting for anybody. We're doing stuff. And even though it's for a gallery, they just see a whole lot of stuff. So then once they see a whole lot of stuff, it's in their minds. If it relates to what they're doing, they're gonna call you.
Mm-hmm. Always keep searching.
Always keep
Mm-hmm.
keep doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know, don't sit there watching House of Cards season 4, which was pretty awesome. You know, also do stuff while you're watching, I guess, because that's what I did. You can have best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Or just don't watch it. Okay.
You gotta sometimes sacrifice.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question is by Nacho.
Nacho.
Now, making me hungry. Now I like a lot of things and being a little. Sorry. Oh, now I like lots of things and being a little paranoid. You study animation, but then go in the painter design path. How does it feel? How does it feel to do that when you find your true passion? Oh, when. Sorry. How does it feel when you find your true passion? It would be better to spend my time learning a bunch of things or to stop that and work on defining your goal.
Okay, well, in the very beginning, it was definitely scary because it's a big step for me. You know, I learned animation, like you learned animation, let's say.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you learn it for years. And then you're going, okay, yeah, I'm thinking I really want to do painting. I really want to do concept art. So that means no more animation. And that was a scary part, right? That was a scary kind of moment for me because you definitely feel, well, I learned animation as well. You know, like I'm going to miss out on every animation job. But you know what? Like, it's a lot better doing the stuff that I really, really love to do. So, yeah, it'll be scary. But listen to your logic. Think about it, you know? Is it logical? If I kept going in this direction, do I think that this is the best choice for me? That's what made me stay with the painting and drawing. I said to myself, that's the thing that I kind of like to do the most. Yeah, and if I keep going in this direction, I feel like this will give me the best chance to be successful. And I want to also touch on, you know, you said this phrase that a lot of people say, which is finding your passion. Finding your passion. Now, I don't know about you, Masay, but I remember I didn't find my passion. I decided what my passion was going to be. And there was a clear, conscious moment where I'm like, I'm going to dive head in, you know, feet or whatever. I'm going to dive straight into this thing and really, really get passionate about art. Did you ever go through any of those kind of moments? Where it was like a conscious decision, like, okay, time to turn it up. And I want to get really passionate about being a good artist.
Yeah, as soon as I got into school, that gear just like the switch went on and I'm just like all about art.
Yeah, and I was in school as well. A lot of times that happens in school. Hopefully it does before you leave school. But it's like, okay, well, the person that is the best at, say, search engine optimization, that is the person's complete passion. That's all the person ever wants to talk about. Now, when they were 9 years old, was that their passion to become a search engine optimizer or whatever you would want to call it? No, not at all. That person had to develop that passion somewhere down the line. They had to make a conscious choice. I really want to get crazy with this. So going back to your question, I think is it Nacho?
Yes.
Decide on what your passion is going to be and then get passionate about it. And that's when putting the blinders on and not thinking about any other options after will actually do you a lot of good, because then you'll get really good really quickly, and then you can decide, hey, is this something I still like to do, or should I switch?
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, you would have had a really great skill under your belt as well. So, you know, it it helps in so many ways.
Mm-hmm. Everything's an experience that you have to go through. So Giselle asks, where's the mouse? Greetings, Bobby. I'm from Argentina, and we don't have much of a big cultural market in South America. So I want to ask you. Most of my artist friends work freelance, and there are a few studios, but the pay is really small. Being in a similar situation at the start of your career, would you try to promote your art and go with small commissions on DeviantArt until you could get enough following for a medium Patreon if your art is good enough? Or would you try to get your portfolio good enough to try to apply to a big editorial or studio of the branch that you would want to specialize in?
By like, if you can, as much as possible, don't take any jobs you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take those little jobs where you're like, yeah, I could do this really quick. If you can, do not take those. If you have to, then fine, take them. But otherwise, stay away, because on your path to your goal, you don't want to make any pit stops. I'm not, you know what? When I drive, I see the pit stop and I think to myself, do I need to stop? Can I just keep going? I'm on good time here. You know, those kind of things. If you are always going for these little jobs because they're quick and easy and whatever, and you're just starting off, well, that's the equivalent of trying to get to this destination. You're just starting off. You're still very far away.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep stopping at every fruit stand you see, you know, pumpkin pie stand you see. It's going to take you forever to get to your goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's really important, the whole, like, not taking the jobs that you don't want, because then it's just going to stop you from, your ultimate goal. So Chris Carmi asks, now that I'm thinking about it, or he does have some questions. First, do you designate a day in your weekly schedule to take a break from art, or rather a break from drawing to work with other mediums? Or do you even need a break from drawing? There are just so many things I want to accomplish and learn to do in life, and organizing a perfect schedule to do all of it in my lifetime feels nearly impossible.
It's all possible. You just gotta be selective sometimes. How I like to do things, like some people like to do, like from Tuesday to Wednesday or Tuesday to Thursday, I'm going to do this. And then Friday to whatever day, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work in clay. I'm going to do sculptures and things like that. And that's not me. I like to do things like these months, I'm going to be into this thing. And then these months, I'm going to be into this thing. So it's a much more kind of concentrated schedule, right? Where it's like and I'll be like, I'm the type to actually say things like, this year I'm going to concentrate on this, and then at this point I'm going to concentrate on that. And just like the gallery show thing that I was saying, whenever we do gallery shows, then a bunch of people always end up calling us, and for whatever projects, I line up my goals with that as well. So I was like, okay, so from now till whenever, I'm concentrating on my gallery show. Even though I am on a film project right now, it wasn't planned that way, but it's a really awesome project. So I wanted to be a part of it. Anyways, I lined up my goals of, okay, in June, I'm going to start looking for a project that I like, and I'm going to start working on my next film. It's all very much conscious planning, and you can see that it's planned far, far ahead of time. And it's like long-term plans. I really, really believe in the long the long stretched out goal is far more powerful than the what am I going to do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? Right? It gives you purpose than instead of purpose for this afternoon.
Awesome. We have another question. Oh, is there any chance we get a schools and workshop in Portugal?
Oh yeah, and before that question, there is who's in the stream with Bobby. So
yes.
in the stream with me is the wonderful, amazing Misei Seki. She's an artist that you're going to be hearing lots about in the future, and we're very happy to have her at Imaginism.
And happy to be here.
Yay! Yeah, so Portugal. Is there any chance we can get a schoolism workshop in Portugal? Never say never. Love to travel. No plans at this moment, but hey, for all of those out there looking for a great workshop, Toronto workshop just opened up. I was just saying it in the beginning of the stream where probably most people didn't hear, but the Toronto workshop, schoolism workshop, is happening May 7th and 8th. Just opened literally an hour ago. You could get your tickets now. Promo code Seneca. Great school and great philosopher. Seneca is the promo code to save you some dollars. Guests coming. It's going to be amazing. I'm flying back from Paris just to attend the Toronto workshop, and then I'm flying out right after just to watch these people. Stefan Martinier, Chris Sasaki. Stefan Martinier, he has been one of my artistic heroes for years and years and years. And then Chris Sasaki, huge artist coming out of Pixar. We also have Mike Yamada, huge artist coming out of Disney. Andrea Blasic, who is like literally one of the top 2-3 sculptors in animated films, and just one of my favorite sculptors in general. Art Germ, Stanley Lau, the Art Germ from Singapore is coming. That's going to be mind-blowing. His work is totally mind-blowing. And then another person that I'm extremely excited about is Chiu Kim. Chiu Kim, I got to see him draw at CTN. Had to get him to Toronto. So for all of you in Toronto, you're welcome. Once you see his presentation, once you see this person draw and everything, you're going to be just blown away. Really just amazing stuff. So tickets will go pretty quick, I think. Last year, the year before, pretty much, I can't even think of any years that we didn't sell out. So get on it. It's going to be great.
Hey, and then another person asked if there's going to be a workshop in Minnesota. Lots of hungry artists there.
Hungry artists? You know what? Minnesota, I don't have any plans to go to Minnesota just yet, but the people that we bring to these schools and workshops, each and every one of them, are people that I would love to learn from, and that's why I bring them. So wherever you can, whenever you can, it's even worth traveling in. The people that go to schools and workshops as well, they are amazing, incredible artists as well, half the time. We just came back from Montreal. Well, Mike Yamada, who will be teaching at the schoolism workshop in Toronto, he was also in Montreal, yet he wasn't teaching. He was just there to attend. The people that go to schools and workshops, I feel they are the 1% of artists out there. Because who would actually give up their weekend, to do art, to learn? Very, very few. right? And so the schools and workshops, they attract those crazy hungry people, that 1% of the population that gets it. Then you're meeting other people that have the same kind of drive as you, and of course bring that network of artists together really helps. So it's very, very recommended. And then there's the people that travel in, and those people, I consider them the ones that sacrifice their weekends to learn plus travel in. That's literally like the 0.1% or 0.01% of all artists. So you gotta build out your network of people that you know and stuff like that, and get out there and meet people. I know, being an artist, a lot of us are introverted. I was naturally very introverted as well. But you don't learn more stuff by staring at the wall in your house. You gotta leave.
Yeah. Yeah, Montreal was great. There's some people coming from New York as well, which is kind of far, I guess. And they like took a bus and everything.
Yeah, there was met a girl from Israel.
Oh yeah.
Right, met a girl from Brazil. New York is far.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess
and
Brazil's far.
Not to knock, people coming from New York, but people come from all over.
Yeah.
It really is pretty cool. What were the things that you found, like the bits from the workshop that really stuck out to you? Like the things that you learned? Because did you get to watch the workshops, or were you just working the table?
I was working at the table, but I got to, get a look at everyone's workshop here and there. But, the great thing is, like, these people, they know what they're talking about, and they give, like, really, within, 2-3 hours, they make it easy enough for all the attendees to understand. And also the great part is, like, you actually get to talk to them, like, get to hang out with them, especially at the parties, and that you don't really get to do often because you only kind of see their work on the internet, not them personally in life. So I think that's like the great thing about these workshops.
That's one of my favorite parts, the party.
Oh yeah.
Well, I just drove in for the party, and I drove out the next day because I'm on that project. But yeah, super fun to hang out.
Yeah. And Tech-Tix asks, have you been to the Calgary for a workshop? I think the college I attend could really benefit from a schools and workshop. Calgary. We'll be there.
Dude, we are going to Calgary. Calgary is totally happening. I forgot to mention that one. So, Calgary, May 2nd and 3rd. Okay, it's lined up with the Calgary Expo. Come for both. It's gonna be, my goodness, I couldn't. Okay, listen to this lineup: Terrell Whitlatch, Ryan Lang, Craig Mullins, Justin Fields, Tom Fluharty, and Victoria Ying. They are all gonna be doing workshops at the Schoolism Calgary workshop there. For those of you that don't know, Terrell Whitlatch, like, I do character designs for a living. I consider her the master of character designs. Craig Mullins, man, we are all children of Craig Mullins. If you use Photoshop to do any kind of painting, you are a child of Craig Mullins almost. It's either or a grandchild, because he has influenced every single digital painter out there. I'm sure he was like the first, and very well could be the best. Many people consider him the best, including myself.
Oh yeah.
And all the others. Oh my gosh, that is not to be missed. And definitely, please do tell your friends. Get everybody involved. Everybody come down, because wherever we go, wherever it was, the workshops do great. Those are the places we come back to the most and the most often. So it not just will help out your friend, and it will not just help us out, of course, but it will help out the whole community by getting the word out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I heard, 200 people saying, "Come to Minnesota, Bobby," how long do you think it would take me to go to Minnesota and do a workshop there? It wouldn't take very long at all, but yeah. So definitely pass the word around if you can. If you like to support what we do here at Schoolism, Imaginism, we would love to get your support.
Mm-hmm. It's funny how someone said, Craig Mullins, I'm thinking about selling a kidney to go to the Calgary workshop.
Hey, you know what? Usually I'd say that's a bad idea.
Okay, B. Neves asks, are you thinking about going to Trojan Horse Was a Unicorn this year?
I am thinking about it.
I've never heard of it. Is it a convention?
Oh, Trojan Horse is a Unicorn. It's a big workshop that happens in Portugal.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, so Andre, the person that runs Trojan Horse is going to be doing a little something with us in Berlin. So after the Schoolism Berlin workshop,
Mm-hmm.
then we're going to all go to, well, I'm not going to be there because I'm going to be in Paris, but the whole Schoolism gang is going to go to join up with the THU, the Trojan Horse gang, and
right.
party it up.
Oh,
I think
awesome.
Saturday night. So yeah, anybody that has their kind of heart in the right place, people that really want to help the community, those are my people. Those are the people that I want to help as well. And Trojan Horse is no different. I like what they do.
I like the name of it. Trojan Horse Was a Unicorn.
It's a long name.
Yeah.
It's a long name. I like THU more. But it's definitely memorable.
Yeah. I don't think I'll forget this name.
Right on. So as you can tell by the bunny that I'm drawing, we're out of time. So I think we're done with all the questions, right?
Last question is just asking, is some workshop is scheduled for France? Because he heard you talking about Paris earlier.
Right. I am going to France. We're going to be spending about 40 days, about a month and a half in Paris, living in Paris with our wonderful friends and drinking, fancy wines and all that
fancy
stuff.
Food.
Living life to its fullest, and living there for a month and a half and painting every day. At the end of the stay, we're gonna have a a gallery show at Arludique Gallery. My French is horrible. I need to brush up on it. But yeah, can't wait for that. I love the people at Arludique. They are one of our closest friends. So we can't wait to go back. Can't wait to see all of our friends in Paris. And yeah, I guess that's it. So is that it for all the questions?
Yep, that's everything.
Wonderful. Well, I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in. And I'd like to thank my wonderful assistant on the stream here, Masei Seki. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And for everybody out there, hey, Schoolism, keep learning. If you want to learn from masters of what they do, people that are successful at what they do, take a Schoolism class, see what everybody's talking about. And if anything, what I would recommend is to actually just start off with a Schoolism subscription first, because that is very cheap, very affordable. Right now, it's $144 for a year. For a year, right? That's $12 a month. You can't go wrong with that. You can't even buy a textbook in a college for $12 a month, right? So, get on that and see the difference between, education and really great education from people that know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, hey, come see us in person. Come experience it in person. Schoolism Live workshops happening in Stockholm, Florence, Seattle, London, Berlin, Toronto, and Calgary. So, hope to see you guys there. All right, take it easy, everybody. Have a great, wonderful Wednesday. And for the people in Florence, we're coming. So, I'll see you soon. All right, take it easy, everybody. Have a great day.